The Office of the Prime Minister Press Office is the primary liaison between the Fourth Estate and the Office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet.
Every day, we are working to build a more inclusive economy and a stronger, safer country.
Hear all of the latest developments as the Davis administration carries out the broad mandate of progress and change. Our live weekly press briefings provide full access to current newsmakers on the most topical issues of the day. We facilitate prompt responses from cabinet ministers on the latest reports and get answers on the issues that matter to you.
Will any penalties be levied against the
OPM Press Now, keeping you in the know. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing. Welcome to our regulars and at least one newcomer I see here. Welcome. Well, this morning, as previewed in previous weeks, we will provide another update through the Ministry of Energy and Transport, essentially updating the operations of BPL and discussing ongoing upgrades currently underway to remodel energy generation across the country. This morning, we're pleased to welcome the COO, Mr. Anthony Christie, who will give details on the Advanced Metering Infrastructure, AMI, also known as smart metering, which essentially transmits electricity usage data to consumers so that they are able to monitor it. Mr. Christie will share the goals of that program and where the new pilot project will be launched. He'll also give an update on how electricity generation issues at the Preston Albury School are being addressed right now. We're also pleased to welcome from BPL Mr. Marvin Green. He's the regional manager for the Northern Region. He will provide an update on action being taken within his region to address challenges in islands including Andros, where, as you know, a fire recently disabled energy generation there. But we will begin with that presentation from Mr. Christie, but first, a preview of the advanced metering infrastructure through this video presentation.
Eleuthera. Change is coming, and it's smart, safe, and built for your benefit. And the team here at Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited is eager to tell you all about it.
We're launching an exciting pilot program to bring advanced metering infrastructure, or AMI, to 165 residential and small commercial customers in Eleuthera. And if you live in Rock Sound, Palmetto Point, Governor's Harbor, or Harbor Island, we need you to volunteer.
So what is AMI? It's a smart metering system that automatically sends your utility usage data to BPL using a secure, low-power radio signal. So no more waiting for someone to read your meter, and absolutely no more estimated bills. So what exactly do you get with AMI?
Early leak detection,
Catch problems before they become expensive surprises.
up-to-date usage data,
Track your electricity use in real time.
online access,
View your usage history by the hour, day, or month.
and improved accuracy.
You're billed only for what you actually use.
Worried about cost? Don't be. There's no charge for the meter or the installation. It's all part of the pilot, funded by Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited. And yes, it's completely safe. These meters meet all international standards and transmit far less energy than your phone or microwave.
This is your chance to help shape a smarter, more responsive utility system for your community. Be one of the first to experience the benefits of AMI. We're calling on you to volunteer today. For more information at the Rock Sound office, you can telephone us at 334-2161 or 2, in Governor's Harbor 332-2727 or 6, and in Harbor Island 333-2255 or 6.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Anthony Christie, Chief Operating Officer of BPL. So today, again, following the video, I'm here to talk about AMI, or Advanced Metering Infrastructure, which we hope to implement through a pilot program on the island of Eleuthera. But let me just start by saying, as part of this overall energy reform that our government has begun and is initiated and is in progress as we speak, you know, the term smart is now being injected into a lot of what we do. The world is being digitalized. We have smartphones, smart TVs, and now we're talking about smart grids. So this means, again, communication, data, instantaneous or real-time information is being shared. So we're improving the grid, and as we know, we're improving our generation capacity, our generation systems. We're adding solar renewables. We're also improving the T&D systems, particularly in New Providence and also the Family Islands. So they'll have a lot of smart technology which allows us to get data in real time, basically allowing us to address issues and problems in real time. So to that vein, the AMI, or smart meters, they address the issues on the demand side, on the customer side. So these meters, again, will be installed. They will allow us to acquire data instantaneously in real time, allow us to pinpoint any issues that occur in real time, and again, address everything in real time. This will improve reliability, meaning you will stay on longer and more than being off, and also resiliency, so we're able to pinpoint where an issue is on the system, what area is being impacted, and be able to address that very quickly. So again, this adds to the overall energy reform. This is a part of it on the demand side or the customer side, and these meters will improve the way we do our business, the way we provide service to the customers. And as mentioned in the video, it allows us and the customer in real time to track and know their usage. And that means you know how much you're spending a particular period or need to spend on the bill. You can conserve, again, look at ways of conserving energy so that, you know, you manage your bill properly. But again, you would know this in real time. You wouldn't have to wait on BPL to send you the bill. You would not be concerned about bills being estimated, as is commonly referred to now. You know, my bill is incorrect, something is wrong. Well, we will know that, you will know that, and be able to address it and deal with that. So again, this pilot program is aimed for us to help us get enough data and information as we fine-tune our RFP, or request for proposal, that needs to go out to really decide on the vendor that we're going to use in order to roll this out across all of our customers, across all of our islands or sites that BPL exists. So again, this is a part of that process. It's scheduled to start within the next quarter, or by the end of this year, we should have it initiated and rolled out. We're targeting the island of Eleuthera. Now, you would say, why Eleuthera? Eleuthera has had its challenges over the last few years, and we're working to improve the generation and transmission on the island. But Eleuthera is such a mixed customer base, from Harbor Island in the north to the mainland, where we see a lot of varying loads, and especially the length of the island. So Harbor Island being a dense population with a lot of high commercial customers, residential, it allows us to get a lot of data that we would need to fine-tune, again, what we want to get in the overall. Also, mainland has a lot of varying loads, and again, the span of the island, 110 miles, means it allows us to see really the resiliency and how we can improve the service we provide through these meters. So again, that's what's happening now in that regard. So the rollout or the pilot should last about 30 days. It allows us to get basically a month's worth of data. And again, from that, we're going to use that to tool our RFP and to fine-tune what it is we want to get as we roll it out to all customers everywhere that BPL provides service. Additionally, from my notes, I see that overall it's about 165 customers that will be impacted by this. They can expect it'll be an easy process. Again, we're just replacing the meter, and then service will be connected and we continue, and then again, data will be collected. And again, the billing will go out as normal, but again, we would use this data to help us fine-tune and understand how the system works, and again, decide on where we move for the next step. So again, no cost to the customers. It will just be something that we come in and do. We'll schedule it and make sure that there's no impact to service or minimum impact as we swap out the meter. And again, business as usual. So that's mostly what I have to say on AMI. Any questions on the program? Harbor Island and mainland. So it'll be customers mainly on Harbor Island, but a few as we move between, I guess, north of Luther all the way down to Rock Sound.
Can you walk us through what this process would look like for Exuma residents as they transfer or volunteer for these meters?
Well, I don't know if it'll be a voluntary. We will identify and we'll give notice and we'll do a PR exercise to say, hey, we're gonna replace this meter here. And again, it's to the benefit of everyone, but it'll be a PR exercise done, a communication that whatever it's a commercial or residential, we're gonna replace your meter with this AMI meter, and then service will be continued as normal.
Is there a cost associated with it?
No cost to the customer at all.
The BPL?
No cost. Well, this is a pilot program. Again, it helps us, and again, there's no cost to BPL at this time.
Okay. So just some understanding, you'll be going like settlement to settlement in order to do the installation?
Yeah, so between, again, Harbor Island, it'll be a few in Governor's Harbor, what are the major settlements, and then all the way down to Rock Sound. So a few customers in each settlement.
And I guess, can you say how much BPL is investing in this entire initiative to replace the meters?
For the entire Bahamas? Well, it's a multi-million-dollar expense, again, that is going to take a certain amount of time to do for all our customers. We have about 118 customers online now. Again, so it is a huge expense because the technology is not cheap. But again, we are getting the funding that we need in order to make this happen. And again, this is in line and integrating with all the work that's being done on the grid. We've improved our added technology to the grid in terms of interrupters or devices. We're improving our SCADA system, which is supervisory control and data acquisition systems in New Providence and also the Family Island. So all of this is tying into us developing our smart grid across Nassau as well as the Family Islands.
Going to the Preston Aubrey.
Oh, sorry, yes, Preston Aubrey. So we had a recent issue, and again, Eleuthera would have had challenges similar to different islands. But as school opened, we had to ensure, of course, everyone wants schools to open, kids go back to school, but we had an issue at Preston, Aubrey, and Eleuthera. And what we have found from our investigations was that an electrical installation was done that wasn't approved, and it should have been approved through the entities, the Ministry of Works, or a certified electrician. And again, BPL and that at that end would then connect to make sure that the supply is connected to the installation. But because something was not correct, this causes them to have an issue. And this could have been worse than it is. Presently, it was a minor an outage. It could have resulted in a fire, and that would have been the worst case scenario. But right now, BPL went in there. They would have done a temporary fix. But again, a permanent solution has to be done. A certified electrician has to be used. The Ministry of Works has to approve, and then we can firm up this connection for the school. But the school should be on temporarily right now. Kids should be in school, hopefully, and then we're going to move to making sure that this fix is permanent and correct as it should be. Anything else?
On this or anything?
I prefer on this, but since you're here and I'm here.
Okay, since you're here, we wanted to ask you, I know you're the best person to ask, so we know Tony Seymour, another interview, she talked about how currently there's no BPL workers that's been seconded voluntarily for the Piker grid, Bahamas grid. And we know in the media, one of the news explained the issue was, the question about pension or benefits. They feel like if they leave BPL to go to the other companies, then they may not get their benefits or their pension. Can you explain, to ease those questions, have there been clarity on what that would be like if the pension is a concern for those people?
Well, yeah, like you said, the CEO as well as the management union's president already spoke to a lot of some details in that regard. But again, secondment is a voluntary action. We're not forcing people to leave. We're not making staff redundant so that they can go and work for BGC. These are skilled staff that BPL definitely can use throughout the organization, as we have 29 power stations on 17 different islands. Our network is huge and complex. So the staff will have, the proposal was for them to either, if they wanted to, move to a new entity, provide the same skills or service that they already do for BPL, or they stay with BPL. Either way, a person has to decide what is in my best interest. And again, that's how it was presented. And if they decided to stay with BPL, then we carry on smartly, and BGC now would have to determine how else they would staff their organization.
But if they left, let's say they voluntarily, the question is, would they still have their pension? Is that something you can say?
Well, as stated already, I don't know what the offer was from BGC to the staff, in line with employment law, et cetera, or whatever. They may have a different structure in terms of pension that BPL has, but again, you're talking about staff that would have worked for BPL 20 plus years. They would have accrued a lot of benefits. That again, that's the issue. Will they be protected? Will that carry over to the new entity? In the U.S., which is where Pike is from, they have what they call the 401k. When you move from company to company, your 401k moves with you. It doesn't work the same in the Bahamas. So again, those workers, those staff were looking at what is in their best interest based upon what is offered to them. And I cannot speak in detail to what PGC has offered to the staff.
Are you concerned at all about optics and what public perception will be if staff does not want to work for BGC?
No, because again, they will continue to work, provide for their families, contribute to the economy of the Bahamas. BGC will continue to work, and as we see, they're busy at work on an island of New Providence as it is. So work will continue, and obviously, as part of the plan, this would have been something that they would have envisioned, whether staff move or not. We still have to do the work. How would we carry on? And how would BPL be impacted? We also had the same discussions and planning.
And there were some pictures of some pipe trucks at a dock or something like that.
Well, again, the Pike company was here initially. It should have been rebranded, or the entity is Bahamas Grid Company, or BGC. So that's the entity that's existing in the Bahamas. So whatever they're doing is not under my purview. But again, we still see BGC or Bahamas Grid trucks on the road, and they are working along many of the main corridors as part of their infrastructural upgrades for the T&D system. All right, appreciate it, thank you.
Right now, I'd like to welcome to the podium Mr. Marvin Green, who is again the regional manager for the northern region, which includes the island of Andros, which we know suffered a setback during a fire recently. He'll give us details of the measures put in place to remedy that situation and details of upgrades on other islands within his region. Mr. Green?
Good morning. Good afternoon, sorry. So my name is Marvin Green, Regional Manager for the Northern Family Islands. As mentioned, I'll begin with the challenge we had in Central Andros. I think it was 2 weeks ago, where one of our major units feeding that district was destroyed by a fire. It happened in the early mornings, I think around 6 a.m., but we were able to mobilize very quickly, reach out to one of our main vendors, and we were able to secure 2 rentals. And within 24 hours or so, we had another unit there to start to connect, to get those customers back on the grid. The local team did an awesome job, getting the fire out, causing it not to spread too far into the main structure. Although we suffered some loss on our equipment, lost a transformer, some switchgear, a number of material and parts. We also lost some portions of the building and some of the electrical on the inside. But we were able to get those units shipped in fairly quickly, and within 24 hours we had, I would say, 90% of the customers back on the grid, feeding from the north plant. And we did have some challenges where in the far south we had some challenges with low voltage and things like that. We were able to rectify that, and then within 30 to 36 hours we had everyone back on the grid. And so right now we have the plant is stabilized. Again, the infrastructure was compromised, but over the next several days we were able to work, remove out the debris, and 3 of the machines that were inside that were not impacted, but except for cables and infrastructure like that. So the teams are working around the clock to get all of those things back together. And right now, the Central Andros plant is back in service. We're still working on some other issues to bring it back to 100%, but it's serviceable now, and all of the customers are online as well. We have a rental on standby, or that's in use. That's in pretty good shape, and so there are no complaints in that area right now. If I move to the other islands, if there are no questions on that, or give me the questions on the back end. We also had some challenges recently, this past weekend, in South Andros. In this case, we had a mechanical and electrical failure. Unfortunately, it happened on the same day. And so because of it, the customers were without power from the night of, I think it happened on a Saturday night, around 10 p.m. And there were no parts. That particular part was not readily available. One part was in Mangrove Key, the other part was in New Providence. But because of the long time that we knew it would take to get those parts together, and with the challenges already in Mangrove Key, which also has a backup unit there, we were able to take one of the rentals that we sent to Central Andros the prior week. We were able to get that transferred down to South Andros, and by that next morning, some 30 hours later, we were able to get that area back on and restoring supplies to all of the customers. We did have some hiccups initially, plugging in the new unit, brand new unit, rental, 0 hours on it. But after some glitches, we were able to get that sorted out and restore supplies to the customers there as well. So both of those territories now enjoy pretty stable power, while we take care of the other issues that we faced in these past couple of weeks. With respect to Abaco, we've had a challenge in a couple of months in Abaco. In the north, Abaco, we have our grid is split into two. We have the Cooperstown Power Station, which is rental power. It is supplying North Abaco from Bahama Coral Islands all the way up to Crown Haven. That also includes Green Turtle Key. We had some glitches there a couple of months ago where our rental units, which is basically the maintenance, is managed by the rental providers. And so almost on a daily basis, we had to switch and do a little bit of load shedding between Green Turtle Key and Treasure Key, which was a real challenge. And so we had meetings with those providers. We expressed our displeasure for them not having to get parts in a timely manner, but we were able to work through it and get all of the rentals back available for service. The major challenge in Central Abaco, the keys, which are being supplied by our main Wilson City plant, since Hurricane Dorian, we were able to get back 75% generation. Of 4 units there, 3 were brought back to service. A few months ago, we had an equipment failure, an auxiliary failure on Wilson City number 1. So if I can give you an example, the engine itself, the generator itself, is operable. But the heat exchange auxiliary failed. It's much like you can go to your car and crank the engine, it's running fine, but the radiator is damaged, then you can't really drive the car. So this is what we face, but we do have service engineers on the ground now working on that machine, as well as unit number 4. And we hope that by the end of September, that we'll be able to get the plant back to 100%. But to shore up things where we fall short, we have generation capacity on the major keys, such as Hopetown, Manawa Key, and Guana Key. So that's what's going on in the Family Islands as far as the challenges we had. And we've done several improvements to be able to combat those things in the future. Any questions?
You mentioned a generation failure. You said that's for a generator that's currently in use or not in use?
Well, the main generator at Wilson City, there are 2 of them. Number 1, the generator doesn't have an issue itself, but the auxiliaries associated with it prevents us from being able to use it. And so we do have engineers on the ground working on that now.
So safe to say it's impacting residents?
It impacts us if the 2 units that are in service, for example, if we need to do some maintenance on a weather plan or emergency and we take that off, then we're impacted because we might have to maybe open 1 or 2 feeders that would impact the residents until we can get that back in service. But as far as those 2 units are available, then all of the customers are online with no challenges.
And Andres, I know when the fire initially was reported, you guys had to have the business or the customer, the phase 3 customers use their own generator until we were able to safely bring on power back. Are they fully back online, the business customers?
Yes, they're back online within 2 days. The reason we couldn't put them on right away is because of the low voltage issue, and their equipment would not have operated. So it was best for them to use their own generators at the time. Although we had 3-phase power, the voltage was too low for them because it was supplied from so far in the north.
And I know the footage that Mr. Seeley gave us, you said that it's not, you still have to do tests to make sure that even though some of the plant was safe, you don't want to be using equipment that is probably damaged or can't be worked the same way they used to. When you did those tests, if you did them, would you say that most of the equipments were fine the way they were, or there still need to be replacements?
No, most of those equipment had to be replaced. We were able to salvage and test, prove, for example, one of the power transformers. This plant would have had 2 power transformers in the range of 3 megawatts each, but one of those were completely destroyed. Our technicians came in and they did the various tests on the one that we did think was good. We were more concerned about the heat impacting the transformer oil inside. We could have changed the integrity, but all of the tests proved that it was good. And so within the next day or 2, we were able to put that on, had all the customers back on. And we're currently using that right now, but we also had some spares on the compound and in the north that we have for the backup units in case that should give out. So we're not, it's in service, but we're not satisfied, or we won't relax because it could give out at any time. But we have backup if that does happen.
Given the issues on Abaco that I guess has transpired, I know from what you've reported, things have improved. I guess 2 parts. With us moving out of the summer peak season, is it safe to say, or does BPL feel as though things will be able to stabilize in terms of residents having more reliable power? And will this issue be rectified as we move forward? Because when winter comes and we have guests come, the peak will then increase. Will we be able to, is BPL able to say that this will no longer be an issue moving forward?
Yes, with confidence we can say that, for 2 reasons. As I mentioned, number 4, one of our major units, it's 80 to 90% complete of its major overhaul. That would have returned to service for the first time since Hurricane Dorian. And then number 1 will probably be finished even prior to that. And into the cooler season now, the 2 units that we do have is more than sufficient to carry all of Abaco. But to shore up that, we have 3.6 megawatts that's going to be available in Hopetown, and we expect to have that done in the next 2 weeks. In Manawar Key, where we had a 600 kilowatt generator, we have upgraded that to a 1.7, 1700 kilowatt unit, which will be able to supply Manawar Key, Matlows Key, and Scotland Key if the need be. We'll also upgrade, we're going to terminate a rental contract in Guana Key, where now we have a 1100 kilowatt generator, but we're going to install a BPL-owned generator, 1.7 megawatts, and that also will be capable of supplying Guana Key and Scotland Key. So we have a lot of redundancy on the keys through these standby generators. And with the completion, the ongoing works at Wilson City, we're very confident going into the winter and the upcoming summer to be ready to meet all the demands. To add, To add to that, the main reason we have that challenge on the keys is because of the damages to one of the subsea cables that fed Guanakey. So that created a ring, and that ring allowed us to feed from one direction or the other. If the cable was impacted on the left side, we could supply from the right side, and vice versa. But right now, we have a bottleneck that feeds only through Matlow's key, and if that cable fails, then all of those keys are impacted. We're very pleased that the cable has been procured, and it should be in transit coming down through the Ministry of Finance and the PEU. We've been able to get funding to purchase that cable, and that's being packaged now and ready to ship down. And so within the next, I want to say 12 months, we'll be in a very strong position with resiliency from a subsea cable standpoint, as well as standby power on the keys. So we are fully confident that we'll be in a position to supply all of the residents with minimal challenges.
Are there further questions? All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm just going to move on to some other in-house matters at this time. As you know, Prime Minister Davis returned to the capital yesterday from the second Africa-Caribbean Community Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And in keeping with a memorandum of understanding signed between the African Union and the Caribbean Community in 2024, heads of state and government committed to executing plans for cooperation in areas including trade and investment, improved air and transportation, entrepreneurship, education, scientific research, tourism development, cultural and creative industries. The summit also recognized that despite a shared historical background and deep cultural ties and bilateral exports between regions currently accounts for less than 3%. Subsequently, the heads of state and government called for increased investment in emerging sectors including finance, communications, and technology. They also committed to the development of maritime and air connectivity and pledged to advance cooperation and capacity building in health through health development, particularly to develop regional capacity to produce medicines, medical supplies, and vaccines. There were also discussions surrounding bolstering the health workforce in the Caribbean and Africa. So those are some of the outcomes from that meeting. I also want to give you an update on the issues surrounding the application of visas for Haitian immigrants in the Bahamas. Obviously, there's been a lot of commentary surrounding that process announced by the U.S. regarding the process of visa applications. The announcement essentially stating that the Bahamas would be a hub for that. Now, acknowledging that this is and has always been a matter with very broad implications for the country, Prime Minister Davis has advised that he is reviewing the matter in its entirety and will make an announcement soon, which will fully detail the Bahamas' position on this matter going forward, of course, in the best interest of the Bahamian people. So just those two housekeeping matters. Anything further?
So just to clarify, I know the Prime Minister is reviewing the matter with the U.S. visa, so that means the current position that he said about Haitians not being going to be denied, does that mean that's void now, or that's just...
No, I'm not saying that at all, but he will address the matter in its entirety. This announcement, of course, came from the U.S. government. It's something that we will have to look at, see that what we are in agreement with, what we may not be in agreement with, and state in an official position on how we would like to see the matter handled. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.